Hey guys, so we got another topic for you here on SwanyPlaysGames, and it is referring to No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has a gigantic update called Next coming out that will finally give people multiplayer in No Man's Sky, which they haven't had, and we're supposed to have it release over 2 years ago. So now that we're at this spot, the question really comes up once again, Swanee. Do we actually trust this game, and do we want to go after this game because of the amazing concept, or is it going to be more failed promises and just a failed, I guess, loss of potential? Or are they finally going to reach the potential this game always kind of had?
Well, even if you aren't interested in No Man's Sky, you have to give these devs credit. Like, they had so much hate and so much criticism, and they even had like tons of death threats when this game came out, and they have stuck to this game through it all for the past 2 years, and they've had like I think 3 or 4 major updates. Like, they haven't been pooping out constant updates, but they've had big updates. And just the fact that these developers, they had a very, very small team, and they are just turning their promises into like a reality and actually giving the fans what they originally promised, or at least trying to do that. I mean, I have mad respect for that. I wish a lot of companies would do that. You see that time and time again. A company just poops out a game and then they sort of forget about it because, I mean, we already gave them all of our money, so they just sort of move on to the next game. But these guys stuck to it, and I mean, hopefully it's everything that they say it's going to be. I know that there's a lot of hype coming back to this. A lot of players are coming back. There's going to be a lot of new players since it's going to be coming out on Xbox. And I think since this game is now being advertised as what it was going to be at launch, I mean, there was tons of hype at launch for it, and then when it wasn't what it like was promised, everybody got really pissed off. But now that this is going to be the game that we were originally promised, tons of people are coming back to it, and I think there's going to be a pretty large community again. So yeah, I'm going to give them a shot. Just the fact that they stuck to it this long, I mean, I'm going to give them my money. I'll test it out.
I'm not that super positive about that team completely. I think they made a huge, obviously made a huge mistake at release, where I think the main guy, Sean Murray, who was doing all these interviews, just simply did not understand what they were able to do. That would be my best guess. I don't think he meant to flat out lie. I think he, in his mind, really thought they would be able to do all these things, but they simply weren't. Now, that doesn't excuse it. You should never make promises like that on all over the place and then deliver a game that can't do that. Should never, ever, ever do that. So I'm not excusing what they did, but I do think that's more than likely what happened there. And I give them some credit for sticking with it, but then again, they don't really have anything else to go off of. I mean, this is still a pretty small game company, and all they really have done is, hyped up No Man's Sky. So they're kind of, it makes sense for them to stick with this game because they're kind of live or die based on whether this game works. I do agree with you, though, that they do have second life. Like, they have a second chance here. Because in the last 2 years, we still haven't found anything that is this ambitious or trying to make something this amazing. The sad part is, this game in itself, if you take away all the promises that didn't happen, it's still an amazing concept that they were able to pull this off. Even to the extent they did, even though it wasn't what was promised, it's still unbelievable what they've been able to pull off. So if they can finally give us what was promised, it's still an amazing potential game. It's still a game unlike anything we've ever had before. Doesn't mean it's going to be great, but it does mean it does have that potential to be fantastic again. I mean, I'm probably going to get it because since we run a gaming channel and everything, I want to make sure I'm keeping up with these big games and things like that. But if I was just a regular consumer, I don't think I'd be throwing down the money until I have confirmation that this game's good first. I think I would wait. Like I said, like, I personally will buy it right away just for the channel and stuff. But I don't think I would be jumping on this right away if I was just a regular consumer because, I'm skeptical on this stuff. I mean, they promised it once, and even if it does have some of the elements they promised, a lot of people just said the original just fell stale. Like, it was amazing they were able to do this stuff, but it was still very stale, and there wasn't much to do, and it wasn't as amazing as it looked like it was going to be. And I'm not sure if this update's done enough to erase that. So I'm a little more skeptical, I think, than you.
Yeah, but that was at the base game.
Yeah,
like
at
all
the
of
base
these
game.
updates combined. Like now there's trading, now there's fleets, and there's space battles, and they're adding in multiplayer, and you can build bases, and you can discover species. So, for example, we can be playing in the same game with up to 4 friends total. So me, you, and 2 friends. We can fly to different planets, and there's no tether between players. So I can be on one planet, you could be clear across the galaxy on another planet, and you can build a base wherever you want on the planet. So I can claim a planet for myself, which had this cool species of alien that I named. So I have my own aliens on my own planet, and I build this huge epic base. And then you could come over to my planet, and we could build on it together. We could build a base together, or I could come visit your planet, or we could just, I don't know, go out and discover stuff together. Like there's tons of stuff that you can do now over the course of like all these updates through the past 2 years. But you're right. It's not like they could have moved on to a different game because they kind of ruined their reputation.
Yeah, they put everything into this. No one's going to buy a new game from Hello Games after what happened with No Man's Sky. There'd be no trust there at all. So they kind of had to stick with this game or just close down the studio because of what happened.
Gotcha. But I think a lot of it might have been Sony, since it was an exclusive. Sony probably pushed them like, hey, get this out. We're kind of want this exclusive, because they were pushing the PS4 at the time, and that was a console seller. Everyone was really excited for this game, so they might have pushed it a little bit too soon, and that might have been what ruined this game at launch. But yeah, if this game is everything that this update promises it's going to be, I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I just love exploring, like, in general in video games. I love RPGs, and this game is just on a grand scale. Like, even if a lot of the planets are kind of similar, it's just the fact that I can just fly throughout outer space and land on whatever planet I want. That appeals to me, so I'm pretty excited for it.
I also wonder how well it's going to work. Because even if you have the multiplayer option, you're going to constantly be disconnecting. Like, how good are the servers going to work? What is that part of it going to be? Because the multiplayer experience, only goes as far as the connectivity will work. Now, if the connectivity is great, you would think it would, in general, be amazing. Being able to explore the universe with friends. Because No Man's Sky, to me, as a single-player experience, doesn't hold much weight. As a multiplayer experience, it could be very, very epic and cool. So that has to work well enough. Like, you can't... because unfortunately, with the way that the game released, I think all potential problems are in play here because of their horrendous release. Although I do agree with you, I'm sure that had a lot to do with Sony and pushing them to get it out sooner. I think that kills most games at launch. It killed Mass Effect Andromeda. It killed all kinds of games that were just pushed too hard by one of the overseers or something, and the game just wasn't ready, and it comes out in a broken state. They've had 2 years. They've had plenty of time to fix it. So they haven't been in any rush as far as I can tell. They've just done what they've needed to do, hopefully. And hopefully it's good, but like I said, I'm still very skeptical. I still could believe that basically any problems could happen with this game. I still could believe the servers don't work very well.
So you're just expecting like bugs and stuff.
I'm expecting it not to be as good as it sounds, because it does sound fantastic. Because I'm a customization freak. I love customizing stuff. It's one of the reasons I love The Sims so much. The ability to customize the whole town and the ability to customize the whole universe, basically, is an incredibly cool concept to me, especially with friends. But, yeah, I'm skeptical because it's still such a gigantic idea. I don't know how they're going to make it run perfectly with all these people coming into it. That I still have quite a bit of skepticism on. And this company hasn't really proven themselves to me as of yet. They have done a lot of updates. They have stuck with the game and everything. But I'm not necessarily convinced that this game is so massively, significantly better. Basically, I'll have to see it, but I wouldn't tell people, take the risk right away. I'd wait a couple weeks, see what people say, see what people think, see if the servers are working well, see if there aren't a bunch of bugs, and see if people say the multiplayer really is everything you hope it would be. And also, there's a question of, even if it's really cool at launch, does it have lasting value? You would think it would, because you're never going to run out of things to explore. But maybe that gets old faster than we think. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that I'm a little curious with No Man's Sky, because I feel like it would have had a slight revival before this update. But the multiplayer thing is always a game changer. So if they do multiplayer right, it could be a big deal.
Plus, it's going to be on the Xbox, which is a completely new console, and this is the first time they're introducing multiplayer. And if this is like really popular and gets a lot of people excited, I mean, this is a small studio, so maybe the servers can't handle all these people coming in to play it at once. And so maybe the servers are like crash or be down for a few weeks. It'll be kind of like it's a new game launching for the very first time. Like, you buy a new video game, the servers normally go down if it's really popular. Like, Grand Theft Auto servers were shot for like a month because so many people were trying to play GTA Online.
I think Destiny's servers shot when it came out. I think Halo's servers.
Yeah.
it just happens with these games most of the time.
So I would agree, maybe wait a week or two, maybe wait to see the reviews. But if everything... My point is, like, I agree with you, but if everything is the way that they promise and say really that this is, like, then it will be great. Because the multiplayer, as long as you're on the same difficulty level, I think there's, like, easy, medium, hard, and then there's, like, permadeath mode. If you're on the same save as your friends, then you can play offline single player, and then your progress transfers over to your friend's game, and then you can trade inventory items with your friends, and there's tons of stuff, and you can customize your character and the way that you look, and a bunch of different stuff. And I think, I would wait for reviews, and then if everything works out the way it's supposed to, I think this will be a really great game to play with friends. And if you love sci-fi type of games, then this will be a game for you.
Also, keep in mind, the video game market right now, there's nothing until fall. We talked about that many times. There's nothing going on. So it's a perfect time to have this, because there's hype for it, because there's no hype for anything else right now except Fortnite, just because Fortnite's Fortnite. But outside of Fortnite, there's no video games getting any attention at the moment.
Not much in August. And then
not much.
I think Spider-Man, Spyro, and Tomb Raider come out in September.
Well, September starts the big stuff. I mean, obviously the sports games and stuff coming in August. Then you got FIFA in September, and like you said, Tomb Raider, Spider-Man, and then it just explodes in October. So there's a lot of big games coming, but for right now, No Man's Sky's got a chance to take advantage of the fact that the market's pretty stale, except for Fortnite. So it's a good opportunity for them. Let's see if they got a second chance. We'll see if they can take advantage of it.
And it is a free update, so if you already own the game, I mean, you don't have to pay anything extra. All updates are free in No Man's Sky.
So we'll just have to see what happens. Guys, let us know in those comment sections down below what you think. Do you think that this game's worth it? Do you think you shouldn't trust a game company that's already screwed us once? Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And, of course, as always, refer new topics to us. If there's something you would like to hear us go into more detail about, let us know about that as well. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And we will talk to you guys in our next video.
We would be honored if you would join us. You cannot resist